The kitchen table held the evidence of a life coming undone. Emma stared at the pile of overdue notices. The paper edges curled from the heat of the room. 20 years of professional history had evaporated in a single week, leaving behind only these demands for payment. The house was quiet, save for the rhythmic, mechanical pulse of the wall clock. Every second felt like a heavy stone dropping into a dark well. She pushed a stack of bills aside, her fingers tracing the rough texture of the printed numbers. At 42, the structure she had spent half her life building was gone. The air in the room felt thin, stagnant, and suffocatingly still. She looked at the empty chair across from her, then back at the mounting debt. Her thumb tapped against the wood, matching the tempo of the clock. The silence was not peaceful. It was a weight pressing against her chest. She stood up, the chair scraping sharply against the tile, and walked to the window. Outside, the world continued its motion. Unaware of the void inside her home, she turned back to the table, her jaw set, and stared at the clock until the next minute clicked into place, signaling the end of her old life and the beginning of a cold, uncertain reality. Friends called with advice, their voices thin over the phone. They suggested retail counters and seasonal shifts, insisting her career had reached its natural end. Emma listened, gripped the receiver, and hung up. She did not want the wages they described. Instead, she found work in the shadows of the city. Every evening, she entered the office buildings when the lights went dim. She pushed a heavy cart across marble floors, scrubbed desks, and emptied bins until her shoulders throbbed. This was the work she chose. Every Friday, the paycheck landed, and she walked straight to the bank. The lobby was quiet as she approached the counter. She pulled out a slip and wrote the numbers with deliberate, steady strokes. $50. It was a fraction of her previous salary, but it was the first brick in a wall she was building herself. The teller counted the notes, the sound of paper sliding against wood punctuating the silence of the room. Emma watched the transaction complete. She pocketed the receipt, turned, and stepped back out into the daylight. The money was gone from her hand, but it was now planted in a brokerage account. She had no plan for the weekend, no luxuries to buy. She had a strategy. When the sun dipped below the skyline, the city shifted into a rhythm of leisure. Her neighbors returned home with shopping bags, their laughter echoing through the thin walls. Emma ignored them. She retreated to her small dining table and pulled out the thick, technical financial reports she had gathered from the library. The font was small, dense, and demanding. She leaned close to the single desk lamp, the light casting deep shadows across the pages. Hours bled into one another. Her eyes began to sting, a dull ache blooming behind her temples, but she did not look away. She kept a pen in hand, underlining figures, cross-referencing trends, and calculating percentages until the ink blurred. The apartment remained dark, save for that one pool of light. She stopped only to stretch her stiff back or to pour another cup of bitter, black coffee. The language of the market was a map she was teaching herself to read. She dissected balance sheets, analyzed long-term growth patterns, and mapped out the movement of capital. Her fingernails were stained with ink. Her movements were precise, methodical, and entirely devoid of hesitation. She was no longer just cleaning offices. She was learning the mechanics of the world that had cast her aside. By the time the sky turned gray with dawn, she had filled 3 pages of her notebook with calculations. She closed the report, the physical weight of her new knowledge pressing down on the table. The ticker on her screen turned red. It happened in a single afternoon. The gains she had meticulously tracked vanished, replaced by a cascading series of zeros. Emma watched the numbers drop. She kept her fingers on the keyboard, refreshing the page, observing the erosion of every dollar she had saved. Outside her door, the hallway hummed with the voices of neighbors. They knew. One knocked, his tone dripping with a sharp, pointed satisfaction. "Still tracking those index funds, Emma?" he asked through the wood. "Everything is gone. You should have kept your cash under a mattress." She did not answer. She stood up, walked to the window, and looked out at the street. A passing car splashed water onto the curb. The world felt colder, the air in the room stagnant. She checked the balance again. It was worse than before. The ridicule filtered through the walls, laughter, dismissive comments, the casual cruelty of those who watched her fail. Emma turned back to her desk, Her pulse was steady. She reached for her notebook and flipped to a clean page. The screen flickered with a new, lower total, but she did not shut it off. She picked up her pen, pressed the tip hard against the paper, and began to calculate her next move. The silence of the room was heavy, but it was not the silence of defeat. Emma did not sell. She closed the browser, stood up, and reached for her work keys. That night, she scrubbed floors and polished glass in 3 separate buildings, doubling her usual shift. Her muscles burned with the extra labor, but she ignored the fatigue. She returned home at 4 in the morning. Sweat dried to her skin and sat immediately at the desk. She logged into her brokerage account. The market was still hemorrhaging value, but she ignored the red indicators. She transferred the entirety of her extra wages into the portfolio. She bought more shares. Every dollar she earned from the extra hours went directly into the falling market. While investors across the globe scrambled to liquidate their assets, Emma emptied her savings to fuel her position. She did not seek comfort or rest. She sought scale. She spent the next 3 hours tracking the plummeting price points, waiting for the floor to drop so she could buy deeper. Her neighbors were silent now, their mockery replaced by the general anxiety of the collapsing economy. But Emma did not notice. She was no longer just a participant in the market. She was a scavenger in the wreckage, building a foundation on the very panic that had ruined others. She pressed the final buy button, watched the confirmation flash on the screen, and leaned back, her hands shaking from exhaustion, but her focus sharp and absolute. 5 years of night shifts ended with a single phone call. Emma took the skills she had honed in her previous career and carved out a space in the freelance market. She traded the mop for a laptop, working from the same kitchen table where she once stared at debt. Her first consulting fee arrived, and she did not spend a cent of it on herself. She moved that capital directly into high-growth assets, watching the percentages climb. She lived in the same apartment, drove the same sedan, and kept the same heavy coat that saw her through the coldest winters. Her friends asked why she did not move or upgrade her life now that the accounts were swelling. She offered no explanation. She simply pointed to the spreadsheet pinned to her wall. Every new entry was a step toward a different kind of freedom. She tracked the dividends, reinvested the interest, and ignored the urge to signal success through consumption. The numbers were the only validation she required. She sat in the quiet of her home, the keys clicking under her fingers, and watched the graph arc upward. Each calculation refined her strategy. She had moved past survival. Now, she was building an empire, 1 percentage point at a time, hidden in plain sight. The cursor blinked on the screen, waiting for the final refresh. Emma sat at her desk, the same chair she had occupied for years, and pressed the enter key. The account summary page loaded, the blue bars of her portfolio chart stretching across the display. She looked at the total, 100,000. Then it ticked up again. She leaned closer, her eyes scanning the breakdown of assets, dividends, and reinvested interest. The number was clear. She crossed the 6-figure mark. She did not cheer. She did not call anyone. She opened the spreadsheet pinned to the wall and compared the digital total against her manual logs. The rows of dates and calculated interest aligned perfectly. Every dollar had done its work. She remembered the nights scrubbing floors, the freezing walks in the winter, and the months when the market plummeted while she kept buying. It was not luck. It was not a windfall. It was the sum of 5 years of relentless, calculated choices. She tapped the screen, tracing the curve of the growth line. The numbers were not just currency. They were the physical proof of her discipline. She had stripped away every luxury, ignored every critic, and remained focused on the math. Now, the math had delivered. She sat back, the cool air of the room brushing against her face, and watched the numbers hold steady. The sacrifice was gone, replaced by the weight of a foundation she had built with her own hands. Emma walked into the bank branch at mid-morning. She held a single folder containing her asset summary. She waited for her appointment, sitting in the lobby while others hurried past with checkbooks and applications. When the loan officer motioned for her to enter the office, she sat down and laid the folder on the desk. The officer reviewed the documents, noting the growth, the dividends, and the steady accumulation of assets. He leaned back, smiling, and began to outline a generous line of credit for a business venture. He spoke of leverage, interest rates, and the necessity of external capital for rapid expansion. Emma watched him, her hands resting flat on her lap. She listened to the pitch, waiting for him to finish. He reached for a pen, gesturing toward the contract. Emma did not reach for it. She shook her head once. She stood up, gathered her folder, and looked at the officer. She told him that she did not require their money. She had built her own source of capital, and she had no need for debt. She turned, walked out of the office, and pushed through the heavy glass doors into the street. The air felt different. She was no longer asking for opportunity. She had created it. Emma turned the key in the lock of the front door. The house was quiet, filled with the steady hum of a home that belonged entirely to her. She walked through the living room, past the furniture she had kept for years, and pushed open the glass slider. The balcony overlooked a garden she had planted season by season. The soil was dark and rich, and the plants were thriving under the afternoon sun. She leaned her weight against the railing, feeling the cool, solid iron beneath her palms. There were no envelopes waiting on the counter. There were no deadlines looming on a calendar. She stood there for a long time, watching the shadows stretch across the lawn. She had traded years of labor for this silence. Every late night in the office, every dollar diverted from luxury to investment, had led to this specific vantage point. She looked down at the garden, then back at the interior of the house. The space was hers. The time was hers. The weight of the past decade had finally shifted, leaving behind only the simple, physical reality of security. She breathed in the air, deep and slow, and felt the pulse of the house beneath her feet. She was not waiting for an opportunity. She was living in the result of her own design. The phone vibrated on the railing. A former colleague was on the line, voice tight with the familiar anxiety of corporate life, asking for the secret to her portfolio. Emma looked at the garden, then at the phone. She did not speak of market trends or complex strategies. She told them simply to start with $50. She waited for a response, heard the silence on the other end, and hung up. She set the device down and stepped inside. She paused before the glass door, catching her own reflection. The woman staring back was not defined by a title or an office. She was the sum of every deliberate choice made in the dark hours of the past. She saw the evidence of a life rebuilt, not from luck, but from the refusal to stay down. She turned away from the glass and walked to her desk. She opened her laptop, the screen illuminating her workspace. She did not stop to celebrate. She did not look back at the path she had traveled. She began typing the numbers for the next month's contribution. The cycle remained, but the stakes had changed. She kept moving forward, one calculation at a time.